Well, hello and welcome once again to the DCL podcast, where we're inviting you to sit back, relax, and we'll be on our way shortly. Well, welcome back to the DCL podcast, your podcast to help you cruise a little smarter. And it's just me today because whenever we record with Zach down in Georgia, he reminded me it's always just me, but Chris and Christy are a little tied up. But I'd like to welcome back to the show all the way down in Georgia. How you doing today, Zach?
Hey, Steve. How are you today? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's awesome having you back on. You took a little break from cruising, didn't you?
Yeah, there's this little thing called COVID that happened. So there was a little bit of a hiatus there. So then we had a baby. So that also, we took a little bit longer after the restart to go back. But yeah, we went on our first cruise in March. And then, just a few weeks ago, got off the Disney Fantasy.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the fantasy today, but I was, here I am. I already forgot about COVID, but I was thinking about you guys having the baby. So you kind of had to take a little bit of a break there before you jump back on. But congratulations to you guys for having your beautiful son.
No, thank you. It was a lot of people, like friends were like during the pregnancy, because, after 6 months of pregnancy, you can't get on a ship. All our friends were like, I see what you did there. You waited until there weren't any cruises to go on before. And it's like, well, yeah, it is making it a little while. We can't cruise anyway. So, yeah.
I love it. Well, for those who, because it's been a while since we've done a show together, for those who are new listeners to our show, why don't you remind everybody kind of your cruising background, Zach?
We're from Atlanta. My wife and I, we did our first cruise in 2016 for our honeymoon. It was one of those, this will be a one-time thing. We love Disney World. Cruising's expensive, so we'll just make it count for our honeymoon. And here we are. Even been now, this past cruise was number 13 for us, 13 Disney cruise and 17 cruises overall. So mind you, 17 total cruises since 2016 with a 2-year break in there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that it hits a lot of us like that. It's like, we'll do this once. And the next thing you know, 13, 14, 15 cruises later, you're still going strong.
Yeah, we are definitely cruise people. Still love the Walt Disney World, but we always try to remind people that on cruise line, the magic comes to you. You don't have to look for the magic. At World, you kind of have to look for the magic a little bit more or wait 2 hours for it.
Yeah, or download Disney GD Plus so that he can hopefully maybe get a little bit heads up on one of the lines there. So, all right, let's turn to this cruise. A little bit different this time, traveling with your son Ezra this time. What were some of the things that you guys did to prepare ahead of time? Because now you got to bring quite a few different things with you than we normally had.
This was his second cruise.
Oh, second cruise. I'm sorry.
Still a lot of it was a lot of first times for him on this cruise, which we'll get to that. So it was, in some ways, it was his first cruise. But yeah, this was his second cruise. So we were a little more ready for that point. But yeah, I mean, it was, so at this point of the protocols, it was vaccinated guests have to do the pre-test before getting to the board. So my wife and I she went ahead and did her vaccination at CVS. I did mine, the little prompter thing, submitted that, but he had to get tested twice. So that was one thing we had to do was get his test 48 hours ahead of time. And then also when we got to the port. So yeah.
Did he do okay with the nose swab and everything?
He lived with it.
Yeah. I could imagine. I mean, probably a lot of kids just roll with it, but it could be challenging for some parents, I suppose, to be able to get that done.
I mean, he wasn't happy about it, but he dealt with it.
All right. So this cruise was on the Disney Fantasy, leaving at a Port Canaveral, Western Caribbean itinerary where you guys stopped at Cozumel, Grand Cayman, Falmouth, Jamaica, and then also a stop at Castaway Cay. Remind me, was this a cruise that you've done before?
Yeah, this was actually our third time doing this specific itinerary. Okay. It's definitely our favorite. It's our favorite Caribbean itinerary by far.
And why is that?
Cozumel. We love Cozumel.
Okay, anything that stops at Cozumel.
Yeah, biggest thing. We're big beach people, and obviously, you have some of your more active excursions in Cozumel, but with us being beach people, Cozumel is just its big selection of all-inclusive day resorts, and which we'll talk about. Nachicokum is our favorite period, so it's always being able to go there is awesome for us.
I love it. Okay, so you guys head down to leave out of Port Canaveral. Did you guys stay at Disney World beforehand?
No, we just stayed at an airport by the hotel. It was one of those very rushed things. Both of us worked a full day of work and then had to rush to the airport. it was like normally we're really good about being early. We were not this time. It was one of those looking at our watch constantly while in TSA line. We made it in, just spent the night at the airport hotel, basically a bed to sleep in, and yeah, took an Uber to the cruise terminal.
You guys, I mean, with Ezra being smaller, you're bringing your own car seat with, so that's not a factor there as far as getting an Uber or however you're going to get to the port.
Yeah, we have a good car seat that's relatively portable. It fastens in really easily. Highly recommend those. The travel car seats.
I never thought about this. Do you check that with your luggage then when you get on the ship? What do you guys do with it?
On the ship, yeah, we just bring it on board with our luggage. So yeah, check it in with the porters and then they bring it to the room. And then outside of when we went to Cozumel and took a taxi, just stayed in the closet. So
that's true. I didn't really think about that too. Like if you did your own like transportation and some of the different stops and stuff like that, having I guess it's been a while since I've thought about car seats. So
fair enough.
It's one of those like black holes. You just like once you get rid of it, it's like the happiest day of your life. It's like getting rid of your boat when you have a boat. They say when you get rid of that car seat, it's that was one of my happy days of life. So what did you guys plan to do on this cruise ahead of time? What were some of the things you guys planned ahead of time for this cruise?
So as far as just things to do on the ship, the biggest thing is for us, we are very much what we like about cruising is the whole doing nothing type thing. So I had mentioned us going to the beach. Our biggest thing was, all right, we're going to go to Nachikokum. That's going to be our whole trip, our whole day, sit around, do nothing at the beach. And Cozumel will play Cayman by ear, and then Foulmouth will get off and walk around on the port. And then, so we're just like literally plan as little as possible. We want Ezra to meet characters. We plan, our Apollo dinner and brunch. And then other than that, we're just kind of see how it goes when we get on the ship. That's really how we cruise.
So we're going to talk about this here probably pretty soon, but you booked Palo brunch, Palo dinner. Was the nursery open?
Yeah, so that's, I don't know if it's like a secret or something, because I know, so if you're for the Wish, we're going on the Wish in November, and we were able to go ahead and book the nursery during online check-in, no problem, but it still showed as closed on all the other ships. For our travel advisor, she had said, hey, FYI, this isn't consistent across the fleet or every sailing or anything like that, but just go to the nursery when you get on board, see if they're open. They may be. Just rumor has it that that's the case. So yeah, we went and nursery was open. They were taking reservations on board. So we had booked it was one of those things, we had booked Palo, but didn't want to get too excited. But yeah, it was open. So we just went ahead. It was super easy. Just said, hey, here's our son's name, info. Here are the days and the times we're looking at. They gave us a little magic band thing, and they said, all right, come back for those times. You create a little like password for them for when you pick them up. And yeah, it was super easy. It took a minute because it does take a little longer to register babies. But other than that, yeah, it was super easy.
Well, let's just keep running with this then. Do you remember what it cost this time or what they charged you?
I don't remember off the top of my head. It was between $7 to $10. It was not expensive at all per hour, by the way. But yeah.
And then how many hours were you allowed to book per day? Do you remember?
No, I think what it is, and I'm speaking based on me doing everything online for our upcoming Wish cruise. It maxed us out at 10 hours per cruise there. So I couldn't say exactly. So if I want to give an educated guess, 10 hours, but we weren't even near a full 10 hours. I think we maybe went 6-7 hours the whole trip.
That's awesome that they had that open. And then I don't think that they feed the kids or anything like that, right? So you're still responsible for that.
For the most part, yes, they're allowed to give snacks. So the 3 snacks, it was bananas. Oh, and I don't remember what the others were. I want to say it was like bananas, and yogurt, and one other. I just know bananas because my son loves bananas, loves bananas. You can't say banana around him without going, Nana. And then he immediately expects a banana to be in front of him. So, but yeah, so there was those 3 things. And then you can give permission for certain liquids, obviously water. You can give permission for milks, juices, etc. But overall, like meals, no, you're 100% responsible for meals.
Okay. And then were you allowed to drop anything off with them? Like, so say your son or daughter has like a favorite stuffed animal or something like that. Are you allowed to drop anything off with them like that or blanket?
I don't know because we don't, there's nothing really he's attached to like that, but we were required to bring our own diapers and also baby wipes as well.
What other advice would you give, new families first time cruising, dropping their son or daughter off at the Small World Nursery as far as being prepared? What else would they need to be prepared? Because I'm just trying to think of questions on the fly here.
No, I would say one thing too is let them explore the space when you're checking them in, when you're registering on the first day. They do the nurse, or they do open houses just like the kids club. So that was something we let him do beforehand. After registration, we let him walk, kind of see the toys, see what all they have a TV that they play movies or Mickey Mouse Clubhouse on. So just kind of let him see the space, let him be familiar with the space itself. So that way, the first day when we dropped him off, we felt really bad. He saw, he was anxious to go back every single time we walked by it leading up to his first block of time there. And the first time before Apollo dinner, we drop him off and they open the door, open the gate, and he gets so excited because he's the whole time super anxious to get in there and play. And he runs in, but it was one of those things you see on TV where the door just shut behind him, almost a trap. And we felt so bad about it because he was yeah, I'm going to play. Oh, wait, they're not coming with me. But at least it got him familiar with the space. And yeah, just something for him to be excited about, know what he was going to go do.
And in the end, overall, he loved his time in the nursery.
Yeah, he had a good time. And they do provide, it's probably better if you bring a change of clothes, but if not, they will provide a change of clothes because he did make a mess on himself at some point. And we came back and he was wearing a onesie, which he looked ridiculous wearing because he's 1.5, but it was really cute.
They got what they got to work with, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna lie. I was can we keep him in this? It's cute, and he looks almost like a baby again.
I love it. It's a picture you can show him when he's a little bit older. So,
really?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go back to the beginning of this cruise. Then you guys are sailing out of Port Canaveral. You've done that several times. Was the sail away party going on? They started that again for you guys on this cruise?
Yeah, they did start it again. We didn't really go because, we've been to it so many times. And one thing I really like to do is go to the balcony. It actually was irrelevant this time because they didn't leave until very late. But generally, I like to go to the balcony. We get the side of the ship that faces the beach. And I know that y'all hate I know that Chris especially hate Port Canaveral as a sailaway. But I'm I like it. I think it's fun. I think it's cool to all those restaurants off the docks. They are blaring music, people wave at you when you go past the beach area. People there's a little park, people park their cars just to watch cruise ships sail away and wave. I think that's really fun personally. So yeah, we went to the balcony to do that, but then the ship never left. The ship didn't leave until dinner time. I don't know exactly what the complications were, but yeah, that happened. So instead we just sat on the balcony and hung out and didn't leave. Yeah.
No, it's a great. Anytime you're sailing away, there's just something. There's excitement in the air, as you start moving and you're heading out on whatever adventure that you're going to be on. So no, I think. And what's funny actually is we've got some friends whose parents live in. There's some condos down there at the end, kind of where that park is that you're talking about, and they actually live in one of those condos there. So they're always sending pictures to my wife's friend about the different ships as they come and go in and out. So
yeah, that's fun. But yeah. I do get why Miami's a little more preferable. I at least get it, but there's something about Port Canaveral that's very quaint to me.
No, exactly. So, all right, family of 3 now. What type of cabin did you guys book, Zach? What works best for you guys?
Yeah, we did the standard veranda, not the family veranda, but the standard one. I will say it was a little bit of adjustment as far as it depends on how you are as far as space, but I would, even with 3, consider a family veranda. So the first cruise back in March was not full capacity. That was still one of those 50-60% capacities. So that's all, you wanted a veranda, they were going to put you in the bigger veranda. So we definitely did feel a little tighter this time with 3 of us so for him, Disney will provide a pack and play, and they will provide a diaper genie, by the way. So just good to know. For him, we put the pack and play right in front of the couch, and we're pretty good about with the curtain not going past there once it is time for him to go to sleep. But the couple times we did, it was definitely a squeeze between that and between just in general, because the pack and play is there the entire time. There's just no room. You're squeezing by, where at least when we were in the family size veranda room, it wasn't as much of a squeeze.
Yeah, that's a good point there. I mean, because that's half your room right there, which the packet plate started taking up as far as the couch and space goes. So plus, I mean, your access to your balcony as well. So
yeah, we definitely have not used the balcony as much with him because of the fact that, so like in the future, I actually think we're going to just do regular ocean views without the balcony because we haven't been able to do it as much. And if if we're not going to do the family balcony for more room anyways, then it doesn't matter as much. So yeah, just something to think about for everybody.
No, that's a good point there. Why pay the extra price if you're not really even using it? So, right. And those big windows are awesome too. I like being able to have like a little bit of light just to see where you are and everything like that. So exactly. Either way works. How did it work for, are you guys like, everybody parents differently, but did you have them take a lot of naps and stuff like that? Did that work for you guys as far as having the curtain in a different space?
Yeah, so as far as naps, he's really flexible. Like, he's always been a relatively easier baby, and now he's 1.5. He does 1 nap a day. So we kind of just played it by ear, depending if it was a port day or a C day or whatever we were doing. If it was a C day, obviously we were, all right, dude, you got it. Like, we got to make sure that you get your nap on time. We got to make sure you're on bed on time, all that. But then if it was a port day, he was pretty flexible on the fly, kind of just adapting to what we were doing, where we were, at least try to get him to nap on the beach, like take a nap on the chest. One day he didn't. He did do it. One day he didn't do it. But and then some days we put him to bed on time. Some days we didn't put him to bed on time, and he was much grumpier the next day. But he's pretty flexible for us, and we try to be flexible for him.
That makes it a lot easier when they're a little bit more flexible. So you can kind of roll with things a little bit. Before we move away from the room stuff, do you bring anything extra to help you out with Ezra as far as any other, obviously you bring your own diapers and stuff like that, but was there anything else extra that you bring that kind of helps out with the room situation when you guys are in there?
No, not really. I mean, it's the biggest thing is, like I said, the pack and play and then the diaper genie. Other than that, no. I mentioned the car seat for travel, but no, not really.
Obviously the room steward cleans out the diaper genie every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he tried to clean it out himself. I don't know he never plays with his diaper genie at home, but something about the Disney one, he just wanted to, it was really easy to open it and like the actual bag itself, play with the bag. There was that. And the other thing, we didn't really have the phone in the room ever plugged in because he always tried to do that. And I think he accidentally called somebody else's room. No. That was the other thing. Hopefully nobody tried to reach us because it was unplugged outside of like the one time I called for room service, it was unplugged.
Well, let's turn to dining then. You guys have been on the Disney Fantasy before, obviously, and the Dream Class ships. So you've got whether it's Royal Court or Royal Palace, and then also Animator's Palette, and then Enchanted Garden. Talk about dining. How did it work for you? Do you have a favorite?
Yeah, so we did early dining. I personally that's something with, you talked about like car seats, saying goodbye to car seats. That's going to be on me on cruises, saying goodbye to early dining. I cannot wait to say goodbye to early dining once he's a little older. Because, I mean, we kind of have to. A, it's when, he goes to bed earlier, and B, he eats earlier too. So did early dining for that reason. And my biggest thing is I'm just not hungry at that point of the day. I in general, I'm not, but especially on a cruise, I've had this giant lunch and I'm not hungry. But so did early dining. We, had those 3 restaurants. Oh, it's Royal Court on the Fantasy. I used to always get it mixed up until this is what a cast member told me, or crew member. They were like, Cinderella's dream is to live in a palace. So the dream has Royal Palace. That's how you remember.
Gotcha. That's a good acronym right there, or not acronym, but a good way to remember it.
But Animators is my favorite, just for general. The food at Animators is delicious in my opinion, and my wife too. We love the food at Animators. That's our favorite. Ambiance wise, I love Enchanted Garden, and then Royal Court. The French menu is I don't care for it. The French menu, I know a lot of people like doing Pirate Night as their Palo night. French menu is our Palo night.
That's it. I totally understand that. Actually, you know what I've noticed is we had Animators when we were on the Wonder, we had Animators Palette for Pirate Night, and they put on all the cool like animation from the different movies from.
Yes. I've seen that before. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, if anybody out there can do that, if you can get Animator's Palette on Pirate Night, that makes it a great experience, because I love to see like all the old Peter Pan and Captain Hook stuff. And then also you have all the latest Pirate in the Caribbean kind of like drawings and everything like that. And also some of them that I think like in the Dream Class ships, they have some of the clips from the actual movie, or at least pictures from the actual movie themselves. Right.
Yeah, it's been years since I was on Pirate Night for Animators, but yes, I do remember the specific. Yeah, like you were talking about, they really utilize all the screens to show different graphics. And yeah, just a little more theming for Pirate Night than the other.
Yeah. Two. So how did Ezra do as far as meals in the different places? How does that work for him?
So it's pretty standard as far as with any kids. They give the kids menu. We look, see what he doesn't like. We kind of know that. And the servers make a point to make sure that his food comes out faster. They're super flexible too. I remember the Paolo night was great because our Paolo reservation was at 7:30, and I had told not 7:30, 6:30. So yeah, 6:30. Dining starts at 5:45. So yeah, and then we had told our servers the day before, hey, FYI, we're going to Paolo, but he needs to eat first, get us in and out, which they did. Our servers were great with Ezra. That was fantastic. They loved him. There were multiple nights where our beverage server would wait for him at the entrance and then hold his hand, walking him to the table. So yeah, they did a great job with him. They really liked him. Yeah.
I love it. What do you think was his favorite restaurant? What do you think he would say?
I don't know. I really
do you have an opinion yet?
I don't think he'll have an opinion when he goes on the Magic or Wonder and gets to see Mickey at Animators. But I think as of right now, nothing really stood out to him. He was intrigued by Crush at Animators. I will say that Crush didn't talk to us, but he was definitely intrigued.
Just watching him.
Yeah, and he likes Finding Nemo, so that
totally makes sense there. Okay, well let's turn to Paolo. So Paolo has changed a little bit since the end of COVID here, and the ship started sailing. As far as you get the prefix menu now, or else you could go a la carte. What did you guys do?
We did the a la carte menu. I mean, the prefix menu's fine. There's just nothing. Yeah, especially we both really like the ossobuco, so that's not on the prefix. So there's that, and then the I forget what it's like, a buttersquash cinnamon. It doesn't have any meat in it. It's a vegetarian dish, but it's delicious. It's like the perfect blend of savory and sweet. Highly recommend those two dishes, especially that pasta, the butternut squash pasta. And I don't like butternut squash. So
that says something then. No, I actually had that once. It's really good.
It's so good. It's so good. It's one of my favorite. It's top 2 or 3 pastas I've had period in my life.
And I think we've done the prefix the last couple of times, but
really?
I like the filet and what they have to offer there, but there's so many other different things that I want to have besides that they don't have on there, that I think next time we're going to do a la carte. So
yeah, no, definitely. And got to be Team Steve right here. You always get slack for the limoncello, Steve. That limoncello is fire.
See?
Yeah, it's so good. So funny story on how I got about trying it, because I was always like, I'm getting the souffle. Why wouldn't I get the souffle? The souffle's good, which it is good. But last time when the nursery was not open, we picked things we would do by ourselves. And my wife said, all right, her thing was she got a massage. My thing was, I'm going to go have Paolo dinner by myself, which when I got there, they figured out, they're like, oh, he's sailing with a baby and his wife. They just put 2 and 2 together. Common Sense dictated that. And what they did is they gave me a limoncello to go for her. They're like, yeah, tell your wife we're sorry she couldn't be here. It's a limoncello to go. And then I ate it. I was like, well, this is delicious. I'm only ever getting this now.
Well, if you play it right, you get your wife to get the souffle, so you can have a couple bites of the souffle, and then you also have the limoncello too.
That's the thing. She loves the limoncello too.
Well.
Yeah. Get limoncello, which I mean, it's delicious. So yeah.
Yeah. No, if you like lemon, I'm a big, I just like lemon. I like limoncello, the drink. I just like the taste of it. So it's kind of cool and refreshing after dinner.
Yeah, exactly. Me, so. And it's funny because I'm a big chocolate person too. I love chocolate. So this says a lot. Hey, everybody, try the limoncello. Give it a chance. Okay.
There we go. All right. Well, there's one other person out there. You and me, Zach, and your wife. There's 3 of us, I guess. So how about Paolo brunch then? What day did you pick, and why did you pick it on that day if you had a choice?
Yeah, so we did the second C day. So, you only had the 2 C days. And the reason was because we did, like I said, we paired Apollo dinner with a Frenchman Unite, and that just happened to be on the second night. So really it was kind of one or the other. So we didn't want to put Ezra in the nursery twice in the same day. And so it just kind of worked out that way. But yeah, the biggest difference with Apollo brunch now is that they no longer have the buffet, which overall is fine. I mean, I definitely miss the sticky buns, and my wife misses, what are they, not the calzones, what are they called? It's a chocolate. I cannot think what they're called. It does start with cannoli. My wife misses the cannoli. So there's definitely a sweet thing on each side that both of us miss. But the way that they do it is that they do like a seafood style option and then the standard antipasta options, except they don't have all the cheeses. But yeah, you can pick between those, or you can do both. Palo Brunch is still a set price. So yeah, you can, but they basically group it together between those two and they'll bring everything out to you at once. So yeah. But then other than that, it's pretty much the same. You still get your complimentary beverage, mimosa, or I want to say it was just a glass of Prosecco. And this is one of those DCL taking care of you things. So they were shout out to DCL podcast. I went to Meridian beforehand and I was like, so we got anything in the sommelier bin? The hostess was ready to seat us while I was ordering. And apparently she looked at my wife and was like, wait, how does he know about the sommelier bin? And she was like, he listens to a lot of podcasts. But then, yeah, after the fact, it was a really good glass of champagne. It was a $20-something glass of champagne that they gave me for $11. So afterwards, I had my first glass. I want a second glass. And I asked our server, I was like, can I get that though at the sommelier bin price? And she's like, I really don't think so, but let me go see what I could do for you. And she took care of me. They had to ring it up to where the bar rang it up instead of adding it to my Apollo bill. But I mean, that's just one of those things. Most other cruise lines would have flat out said no. And instead they just were like, all right, yeah, we'll go typically it's no, but let's see how we can make it work. And they did.
I love that. Well, when you guys go on the Wish, make sure you hit up the sommelier bin at the Rose, because kind of like with the Dream of the Fantasy, having both those restaurants and everything like that, I think there's a lot of open bottles back there that you get some pretty good deals on. So
it's delicious champagne. So
yeah. I never liked champagne until we did the champagne tasting. Well, I was kind of intimidated by it, I guess, to be completely honest. But once I did the champagne tasting, it's like so many good champagnes. You hear the stories behind them and everything like that. I'm a big champagne fan now too.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right. What were some of the fun things that you guys got to do around the ship then, either as just you and your wife or as a family?
Yeah. So I guess we'll start with each of us individually, and then we'll talk about as a family. Actually, we'll segue from you did the champagne tasting. I did the chocolate liqueur tasting, which was excellent, absolutely excellent. And it was so cool to hear them talk about the champagnes, the wines, and the liquor that they gave us, the background between that, why it paired well with each chocolate, how it was. And the lady was really funny. She was saying how she was like, yeah, our team, there's only 4 of us, but it's such a tough job because we have to make sure it tastes good for the guests and try out everything with you. But somebody has to do it. But yeah, it was great. It was really got to try one champagne, 2 wines. One I didn't like, but I mean, I'm not a big wine person. And then the 4th was a whiskey, which I mean, I don't drink whiskey because I only ever drank whiskey in college, and leave it at that. I drank whiskey in college. It's not like it was good whiskey. So now I stay far away from it. But yeah, they were saying it was the shot of whiskey they gave us typically would be a $40 shot of whiskey. So I was like, well, I'm definitely taking this. And it went down super smooth. And yeah, we tried a regular hard chocolates, dark, white, and caramel, or we tried just a regular melted chocolate. And even one, we got to try a Parmesan cheese and we dipped it in the chocolate. They're like, well, that's why cheesecake is good. There's just certain cheeses that pair well with it. So yeah, it was excellent. I highly recommend that one if you can. I know it's tougher to get, but yeah, if you can get it, highly recommend it.
I think they do such a good thing with those drink tastings because you're not just going there to drink. They're really giving you either a history or a really good background on why that drink is important, why they picked it out, and why they paired it, like in this case, with the different chocolates and stuff like that. So that's awesome. What were some of the other things you guys did?
My wife, so while I did that, a few days later, my wife did a massage. For the most part, which we can touch on this later, I went out at night when Ezra went to bed because my wife likes sleeping a lot more than I do. She goes to bed a lot earlier than me. But as a family, so this was actually the first cruise on the Fantasy that they got rid of social distancing on characters. So, I mean, I was excited when I heard that. They announced that maybe 2 days before we left. So I was just already generally excited, but seeing him with the characters was absolutely amazing. I mean, we went to as many character meet and greets as we could. He was terrified of princesses. He was not a fan of the princesses. He was kind of apprehensive with Cinderella and Tiana, and poor boy was terrified of Rapunzel, absolutely terrified of her, which I think she overwhelmed him, but she was a great Rapunzel, like playing the character. Like she was just super hyper and engaged and all that. So excellent Rapunzel, but it scared him. But the costume characters he loved them. I mean, if they were in a costume, he was going to run and give them a hug. He made it to where there was one meet and greet with Mickey and Minnie, and I shared this on the Patreon page, where he went back and forth hugging, just back and forth hugging. And there were a couple points where somebody was like, is he the little boy that was hugging Mickey and Minnie? And I was like, yes, he's the little boy. And I even was talking to the handler while that was happening, and I was like, I feel like Mickey and Minnie's friends are going to be talking about this later tonight. She was like, absolutely will be. So yeah, just seeing him with the costume characters, that made the trip, honestly. So yeah,
that was such a great video watching him go back and forth. I love that one.
But yeah, and then other than that, pre having a kid, my wife and I were big lay at the pool all day people. We actually, something we utilized the nursery for, we blocked out a 3-hour segment of time for us to go lay at the adult pool and have just, some alone time. But with him, he loves the splash pad, loves the Finding Nemo splash pad. So we took him there plenty. They have a tiny little slide there. So we would take him down the slide. They have the Aqua Lab, which, I mean, technically you're not supposed to bring kids with diapers on, but I was like, I mean, literally there's nothing here that he could, we're walking him through this. So we took him to the Aqua Lab, which is on the Fantasy mega splash pad. So yeah, he enjoyed that a lot. And then that little quiet area that looked right in between adult sections on the Dream and the Fantasy, we did take him to that. Again, you're not technically not supposed to, but there were other people taking their toddlers. So I was like, well, if they're doing it, I'm doing it too. So nice little small area for him to run around in the water. He tried to drink the water multiple times. Well, actually he successfully drank the water multiple times. But yeah.
That's a great space. I love that little space for families. It gets away from the, I don't want to call it chaos, but the busyness of. I mean, it is
chaos.
Of the main pool area.
But yeah.
But it's kind of like a place where you can kind of, even as a family, just go chill out a little bit, but still have, water and everything else. So I really like that area.
And exactly, especially with a toddler, there's no threat of him drowning. There were other parents watching their, 1 or 2 year olds there. So everybody's keeping an eye out for everybody. So yeah, that's something I've realized about Disney Cruise Line as a parent is everybody's on the same exact page about watching their kids online. And I'm sure it'll, grow with age, they get more independent, but right now having a 1-year-old, every single parent's very alert in general, and you do feel safer on Disney Cruise Line in general. So yeah,
we've all been there, right? So when you see what somebody running by themselves, you kind of all right, make sure that
where's the adult?
Exactly. How about the pirate party? Did you guys actually go to the pirate party?
They went to bed. I kind of did, kind of didn't. I say that. I don't like the pirate party on the Dream and the Fantasy. I'm really excited for it on the Wish. I cannot wait for it on the Wish. Yeah. Y'all have really hyped it up, FYI. So if I don't like it, it's y'all's fault.
As long as you like 80s music and
I love
like some good
so.
fireworks, you're gonna love it because it's like you get the live band, they get the lights going.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
but no, I'm with you. I like it on the Magic and the Wonder. I just don't love it on the Dream and the Fantasy. Also, something they do at least in summertime for the Western, because I've done Western Caribbean a few times, like I had mentioned. Yeah, during this, at least the pattern that I've noticed is during the summertime, you go into central time, so you whatever that is, lose an hour or gain an hour going there on the first sea day, and then the second sea day you lose that hour again. So that kind of threw me off a little. I know it's just 1 hour, and I know people that have done transatlantic cruises like, what's wrong, what's this guy's problem? But yeah, it completely threw me off, so I was a little tired. But I was like, all right, I will celebrate Pirate Night to some capacity. So in between pirate parties, I did go and watch Muppet Treasure Island on Funnel Vision. So that was my participation.
I've never noticed that they play that on there. That's awesome that they have that up there. Okay, besides the pirate party, did you guys take in any of the nighttime shows? Were you able to take Ezra to them?
Yeah, so we did a mix of family, and this is something my wife and I really try to make a point to do is give each other, which I've kind of touched on that, is make sure that we do a good balance of family time at any of the shows, or each individual one of us go and do that. So we took Ezra to see Frozen. He did a really good job. He was tired, but he did a really good job with Frozen. My wife just let me go to Believe. I just personally love Believe, especially the part of it when the spoiler alert, when the dad sees his daughter grown up and they do like the montage of like all the different Disney characters loving their children. So I used to get a little teary-eyed at that part, but this time, as soon as they showed Geppetto snuggling Pinocchio in bed, I started absolutely just sobbing. I was like, oh my God, can't handle it. And then I think all three of us went for Aladdin. I don't remember, but we at least like had the open communication of, okay, if you want to stay for Aladdin, you know, since I stayed for Believe, you stayed for that. And then we rotated. They had an a cappella group on there called Moonshot, they were amazing. Have you ever seen them before?
No.
Yeah, they were absolutely amazing. And I mean, they would have been great in general, but their quote percussionist, if you said, hey, here's what a professional beatboxer sounds like, it's indescribable. You have to hear it live. I mean, they were absolutely incredible. And I went to the family show where they mostly just sang Disney songs. And I was trying to get Frances, my wife, to go to one of the adult shows, but she didn't make it. She wanted to go to bed. And that's where the hour difference really hit her. And I was going to try to go to an adult show, but yeah, she didn't make it. And then other than that, yeah, there was a ventriloquist, went to that. I went to the family show, and this was the one night because she was like, I'm going out. I'm going to do it. I'm going to stay up and I'm going to go have some quality me time. So yes, she finally did go do it. I was proud of her. And I mean, it's not that she doesn't want to, she just goes to bed so early sometimes, but yeah, she went and saw this ventriloquist, the adult show for that. And then other than that, I was the one who went to Match Your Mate. We kind of have to, I just end up usually being able to go because I can make it up that late. So it's nice because that starts at like 10:30, 10:45, something like that. It's nice because it coincides with O'Gill's happy hour. So I'll be able to go get a beer half off and then go watch Match Your Mate.
Glad you guys had a good time. So sounded like a really good time on the fantasy, seeing the different shows, being able to do some of the adult stuff too, and then just things as a family as well. Yeah. Well, let's turn to the ports. Cozumel is one of your favorite stops. Mm-hmm. So talk about that. For somebody going to Cozumel that doesn't know what to do, and maybe they want to have a beach day like you, sell them that beach day, Zach.
Yeah. So, I mean, Cozumel's all about, like I said, the beach days. There's a bunch of all-inclusive resorts. We had the two main ones that one I can give you the praise, and the other one I've heard the praise is Nachi Kokum, where we've gone in Mr. Sancho's, which with our taxi driver, we talked about Mr. Sancho's, and he said that is the party place. Like, if you want to go have a good time, that's where you go, which 10 years ago I would have gone, and now I don't. I like to chill on the beach. So if you're looking for a good time, looking for a party, go try Mr. Sancho's. I've heard great things about it. First time we went to Cozumel, we went to, I want to say it was Playa Mia. That was through a Disney excursion. We did a cooking class and then at Playa Mia, and then got to go over for some beach time, which they were fun. They had, it was just a chill beach day. But Nachi Kokum, where we went, it's relatively inexpensive. I forget how much it is off the top of my head. I want to say it was maybe $45 to $55, $60 a person. Not expensive at all. I kept thinking I need to tip more, but per the server on the beach, I said, nope, it's all included. So they said gratuities are included. I still tipped a little more, but I felt like per the server, that includes gratuities. But yeah, it includes food. It includes drinks. The food's pretty good. Mostly standard Mexican, Americanized Mexican dishes. And then just, some little things, hamburgers, all that. And it includes your alcohol. It's like Castaway in that the servers go through the beach and, take your order, bring back your alcohol. They have a really nice pool. It's not like mega pool like Royal Caribbean's Coco Cay, but it's still a very nice size pool. Swim up bar on the pool and then the beach. That does include your umbrellas. It includes your chairs. You do have to rent towels. So bring your free DCL towel. But yeah, other than that, you just go do what you want. You want to hang out at the pool, go hang out at the pool. If you want to wade in the water, do that. If you want to chill in your chair, do that. But the kicker with it is that they max out capacity at 120, 130 something people. So there will never be a completely full beach. I mean, yeah, even if it is max capacity, it will not feel crowded at all. We actually, and it was even, there may have been 14, 15 people there because Disney, we were the only ship in Cozumel that day. Our taxi driver, we saw it with our own eyes, but also our taxi driver told us, yeah, y'all are the only ship today. So it'll be a slow day for us. But they said the next day there would be 6 ships. So, and there's even a sign at Nachi Kokum saying, this is a relaxing atmosphere. If you start getting too rowdy, we will ask you to leave. So yeah. If you want to go chill, relax, if they also have they allow kids there. So, not a problem if you have kids, but yeah, if you're pretty chill, you just want to hang out. Yeah. Your food's paid for, your alcohol's paid for. Nachi Kokum is where it's at.
Sounds perfect. How did you book it?
You have to do it outside of Disney. You have to do it completely separate through Nachi Kokum directly.
Is there a website or?
Yeah, you just do it on their website. You pay a deposit, and then when you get there, you pay the remaining amount. And they do take credit card, by the way. I was a little afraid that they would not. I remember I was like, I don't know if I have quite enough cash, but they ended up taking my credit card, so that was nice.
And no problems getting back. Because you get off the ship and there's tons of taxis there, but I was worried about once you get there.
Yeah, okay. You have to take a taxi there, which everybody in Cozumel is pretty helpful as far as, you have the people upselling tours. If you just tell them, yeah, we're going to Nachi Kokum, they're like, oh, yeah. The taxi area is over there. So super easy there. And then once you leave, we left a little bit earlier than we wanted to. We just could not get Ezra to nap on the beach there. So we did leave a little bit earlier, but yeah, as soon as you just let your server or one of the servers know, hey, we're about to leave, and they'll go ahead and call the taxi for you. And then they'll be like, oh, taxi 23 is on its way to get you. So you just stand out front until taxi 23 gets there and takes you right back to the port.
One last question. Yeah, Ezra being a little bit younger, 1.5 the water as far as if you're gonna go down to the beach, are the big waves there or what? How does okay.
Yeah, super calm. But yeah, other than that, Cozumel's great for shopping. There's a lot of shopping there, a lot of shopping. They do have the reputation of being a little more aggressive, which they are. It doesn't bother. I know it does bother some people. It doesn't bother me. I don't mind saying no thank you. You will say no thank you about 25 times, but yeah, it's one thing is really cool that we've bought it actually before. They sell these have you been to Cozumel before?
Yeah, we went there in February on the Wonder, but that was the only one time. So
did you see the little spray painted surfboards that they sell?
Yeah, those are super cool.
Yeah, that we bought one of those beforehand. So it's a cool souvenir. That's not, but they have spray painted surfboards, and they always sell because Disney's the only ship that uses that specific terminal, the spray painted surfboard with Mickey and a unnamed Disney ship. And if you're into sports, they have all your favorite sports team and all that. Also, there's a Hooters. If you want your American food fix while at Cozumel, there's a Hooters at the Disney port.
And I think there's a Well, we don't even need to go there. So Ed forgot his clothes, and he needed to get clothes for Palo night that night. So he went down to there's like a Mexican style Walmart that's just down the street too. So
I didn't see that.
Yeah. If you need to go do some shopping that way, or if you need to go to pharmacy, I mean, there's a ton
you can buy antibiotics under the counter. So yeah. Fun FYI, if you ever need one and you don't want to buy one at the medical center on the ship, you're at Cozumel, go get an antibiotic.
There you go. All right. Well, let's move on. We were talking ahead of time, and you guys stayed on the ship in Grand Cayman?
Yeah, we stayed on the ship for Grand Cayman. Reason being is it is a tender port. You do have to tender. And we just figured that might be a pain with a 1-year-old. And especially, if there was like a meltdown or anything like that, it would be more so of a pain getting back. We've gotten off in Cayman before. With Cayman, it was one of those you can go to like 7 Mile Beach or book an excursion. I will say if you do snorkeling, that's a can't miss. So that was the other thing, is because like the main thing to do in Cayman is snorkel with a baby. It's just not doable. But yeah, snorkeling in Cayman is a can't miss. We did it over one of the shipwrecks, and the shipwrecks were cool. Some of the most beautiful fish. If you've ever read the children's book, The Rainbow Fish, we saw one of those. But yeah, that was a few years ago. And also that was when we booked our adult time for us to just hang out at the pool by ourselves with Ezra in the nursery.
The one time we went there, we went out to Stingray City or something like that. We took a catamaran. So once Ezra gets a little bit bigger, that was still one of my favorite experiences we did with the kids.
I want to hear about it.
I mean, mainly just because, being on we live in the Northwest, so we're not like out in the, out in catamarans and everything like that. So I just remember the beautiful blue waters, and we're going out there, and all the kids were like, they've got kind of like this big cargo net area up in the front, and all the kids were just having a great time out there as we sailed out. And then on the way back, the captain had each one of them come up, and they were able to sail the catamaran a little bit.
Oh, that's cool.
By themselves. So yeah, that was just a fun. And then, like you said, once you get in the water, all the fish and then the rays and everything around you, it was when Ezra gets a little bit bigger, I think you guys will really enjoy that.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely do that.
So, all right. Yeah. From there, you guys move on to Falmouth, Jamaica. I've never been there. What'd you guys do there?
So we were lame tourists and went to the Margaritaville.
That's okay.
It was a one-time. It is like, all right, I think I've only had Margaritaville in an airport before. I don't even remember which airport it was. And I knew the Margaritaville there had a pool. So I was like, all right, let's do it. Which, funny enough, I only went in the pool. I stepped in it to be able to say I did it. And then we went back to the ship, which it was one of those things I just didn't want to leave my stuff laying around in Falmouth, like unattended while we were in the pool. And so, yeah, the way Falmouth is, it's a pretty decent sized port. And then there's a gate. It's a very big gate because apparently Falmouth's not very safe. So it's highly recommended that you don't go off on your own past the gate. You either do the port or you do an excursion. So that was so we were just like, let's just wander around the port. They've invested a lot of money because the first time we went in Falmouth, there was almost nothing at the port. We had done an excursion that time, but then, this time they've really built up that port as far as shopping, bars, some restaurants, etc. So we were lame and went to Margaritaville, which was good, not great. But now my wife and I, we had some good cocktails, and we got Ezra some mocktail and did a funny little, I don't know what it was, but the kid loved his juice. And so, we made a boomerang with the three of us toasting. So that was cute.
Yeah. Well, not every port excursion has to be epic, does it?
Exactly.
No, but good to know. I've heard the same thing too. Like if you're going to go outside, it's kind of, unless you really know what you're doing, you've been there, it's not recommended. So stay within the port area or else do an excursion through Disney or elsewhere. All right. From there, then you've got one more stop, Castaway Cay.
Yep.
What were you excited about doing there?
I mean, just being at Castaway, like I love hearing how Christy, I like how she just goes on about how much it's her happy place, because like her and I on this are the same exact page about Castaway. It's just one of those things that's always great to be there. Even, we went so many times to Serenity Bay. As wonderful as that was, even better just going with a kid and just seeing him have fun on the beach. We went to the second family beach where Cookies 2 is, because they have a small little splash pad. I mean, it's nothing special, but they do have a splash pad there. So we wanted to be in walking distance of that. We parked there, hung out at the beach a little more, took Ezra into the water, got him. They do have, they have life jackets in general, but they do have the toddler size life jackets with a little flap on the back. So we were able to take him into the water. Also, we were able to get him to nap as well. So that was nice. I just let him lay on my chest while I read, and he napped, and Francis went and snorkeled. And one thing that was nice about Castaway, which I think at this point they've gotten rid of the rule for crew members to have to wear masks. And let me be clear, if you want to wear a mask, that's what you feel safe doing, do it. All for it. But as far as I do miss seeing faces on the ship, especially with my servers. I have no clue how they look. And that was the nice thing with Castaway, is the crew members weren't required to wear masks because they're outside. And so that was really my opportunity to see my server's face. I was like, oh, that our head server was waved at us and came. I was like, who are you? Oh, hey, man. Good to see you. So that was honestly the best part, too, about Castaway, is just actually being able to have a little more, personal conversation or interaction, I guess is a better word, with our servers. So, and I destroy those cookies. I destroy those cookies at Castaway. I love those things. I don't know what it is. It's my thing. I barely ever get ice cream, the soft serve on the ship. I almost only go to the vanilla peas or sweet on you. But when I'm at Castaway, that's when I go get my soft serve, and get my giant cookies. So, yeah.
Have you ever tried it with, so you put the soft serve in between the two cookies? Have you tried that?
I've actually never done it. I've seen people do it, but I don't know my whole tradition is have my soft, go and eat my quote barbecue. Then I get my swirl in my cup and my two giant cookies.
I love those cookies too. I can't wait to go back. Yeah. Anything else about Castaway then that stood out?
No, like I said, luckily Ezra took a nap on Castaway, so we were able to stay a little bit longer. But then, from there back to the ship.
And then from there back to Port Canaveral. Anything that we missed on this cruise that we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about, Zach?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's Disney. I think one thing we love about Disney is it's quote the same vacation every time, but you're always going to find something a little different. That's why we're very much, we know what we like, we do exactly what we like, accomplish everything. So in some ways it's the same vacation, but then there's just those little things that, whether it be having a different server, whether it be just some random thing that you try for the first time, meeting somebody, whatever, it's what we love. It's our happy place. And it's one of those things that, especially after a 2-year break, you don't take it for granted.
No, that's for sure. Well, let's turn to the Wish just real quick. What are you guys excited about doing on the Wish?
So we talked about the pirate party. I'm very excited for that. Other than that, I do think, I talked about how, which we'll see if this is a bad thing, but I talked about how much I'm used to the same thing and enjoy the same thing. I am kind of excited to try something new, so to say, and that it is so different. I'm glad that we are going a little bit later after the inaugural sailings, because I have the right expectations hearing all of y'all content creators talk about it. It'll also be a new experience in that we are sailing. We've sailed with friends before, but we've never sailed with family before. So we're doing back-to-back. 3 nights will be with my in-laws and then 4 nights with my family. We've been trying to get everybody to cruise with us because my in-laws love the beach and my mom loves Disney. My dad hates fun, but that's beside the point. He also loves eating. So that's the thing. He loves fruit and he does love laying down doing nothing. He likes the beach, but yeah. So anyway, point is we've been begging them to try to get them on a cruise with us. And nah. As soon as there's a grandchild, yeah. We're coming. So that too, outside of it being the Wish, it being just a generally new experience altogether.
You guys are gonna have a wonderful time. Don't feel bad. My parents are the same way. It's we'll do something someday. And then once the grandkids came around, it's like, wow, you guys really want a vacation with us, huh? You guys are gonna have a great time together, especially like you just could go and do different things during the day. But my favorite times are like coming back at dinner and like just, talk about what you did and laughing about it. And then maybe experiencing some things after dinner too together. So
I'm excited for the food. I'm excited for 1923. I've tempered my expectations for Marvel and Arendelle, and I'm excited for Paolo. We had I was about to say Remy, an Enchante dinner or no brunch, but we're actually thinking about canceling it because all I've heard is how great Paolo is. We don't have Paolo brunch yet. That was one of those things that it's we're platinum. I was on at midnight and I did not get Paolo brunch and I had to search for Paolo dinner. So excited for Paolo dinner, hoping that we can get Paolo brunch when we get to the port and use the chat feature. So fingers crossed for that. But yeah, all I've heard is how amazing Paolo dinner, and from y'all especially, how amazing Paolo dinner is. So
yeah, it's a great space. The Rose, either before or after is a great space as well. Yeah, I hope you guys get it. It's 72 concierge rooms makes it tough.
I didn't know it was that many, but that makes sense.
Yeah, there's like that many concierge rooms that you're kind of competing against now as far as even as a Platinum Castaway Club member. So.
Well, it's funny because I do remember thinking like when they announced that there were just Ocean View concierge rooms, and I'm like, why would I do that? Like if I'm going to do a concierge room, I want to do a balcony. And then, all this stuff, information has been released, the spaces, all that. I'm like, now I see. They knew what they were doing.
Right.
They knew how to charge more money.
Exactly. So, well, I hope you guys get the brunch, but at least if you don't do that, you get dinner already booked up. So you'll be able to experience that. So, well, I guess for Chris and Christy's sake, I just got to finish this. And hopefully they're going to listen to this episode, which I'm sure that they will, because they have to listen. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But I know that they would be remiss if I didn't mention the shirt that you're wearing right now. And you got to be pretty proud of it.
Yeah.
National champions.
Yeah. Georgia Bulldogs 2021 national champions. Gonna repeat.
They're off to a great start.
We'll see. They look good. Up until last week, they looked a little shaky, but the game was never in doubt. So I'll be so mad if like the week that this gets released, we lose. But
maybe I should cut this out then, so I don't jinx your team.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, my wife and I, we both went to UGA, so yeah, big Georgia fans.
Well, I know it was a long time coming because, I know you guys, Georgia fans are huge fans. You guys got a huge fan base and everything like that. And it's like you guys have been so close so many times. And finally,
I went through some heartbreak in general, but I was there. I went to school there in 2012 when that was I don't know if you even pay attention, but yeah, that was the year that we lost one of the years we lost to Alabama. But when we were like 3 or 4 yards short in the SEC championship, and I was like front row student section, the whole thing happened like 20 yards, whatever, ahead of me. So yeah.
Well, good on you guys for getting it done last year, and good luck this year too. Woo! So at
the end of the day, I won't be sad. I'll be like, oh, we did it once. I'm happy. That's all I wanted.
Well, once again, Zach, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy night and scheduling everything like that to talk to us and share your experiences. Thanks for all the support of the podcast over all the years. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Hey guys, join Patreon. We have fun in the Facebook group.
We do. So, all right, Zach, all the best to you. And we will talk to you after you get off that Wish cruise. Have a wonderful time there.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve.
Cheers. Well, that's going to wrap up our show today. Once again, I really want to thank Zach for coming on and sharing his and his family's recent sailing on the beautiful Disney Fantasy around the Western Caribbean. Well, if you've enjoyed this podcast and you know others who would enjoy it as well, we sure would appreciate it if you'd pass it along. Also, if you have time to go over to iTunes and leave us an iTunes review, that helps our show get a little bit better known in the Disney cruising, the Disney podcasting, and just the cruising podcasting community in general. Thank you so much for each and every one of you who've taken time to do that. Also, I'd like to give a huge shout out to our Patreon supporters. They help bring this show to you each and every week ad-free. If you'd like to find out how you can support the show, you can go over to patreon.com/DCL podcast and find out all the information there. Well, December is upon us. We're going to have our December Cabana show out later this week, so look forward to bringing that to you. And that means the holidays are in full swing, and I think they've been in full swing sometime since October, haven't they? So on behalf of myself, Steve here, Christy, and Chris Hollis here at the DCL Podcast, if you are headed out on a Disney cruise, a very maritime cruise, headed down to the parks for the holidays, or just spending time with family and friends, on behalf of all of us here, we'd like to wish you to be well, enjoy time with family and friends, and we'll see you next time on the DCL Podcast.
The DCL Podcast is not affiliated with the Disney Cruise Line, Walt Disney Company, Adventures by Disney, or Run Disney. All of the opinions expressed on our shows are those of the hosts and the guests who appear on the show. If you have any questions about any of these products, please contact the Walt Disney Company.